Picture this: robbing a bank in broad daylight right in the middle of a bustling city, and doing it over a long weekend when everyone is distracted or away. And yet somehow, no one even notices a thing. Not a single raised eyebrow, not a whisper of suspicion. It sounds like the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster, doesn't it? But this story isn't fiction, it's a true account of one of the boldest heists in modern history. This is the tale of a man who didn't need weapons, a mask, or even a getaway car. All he needed was a clever plan, nerves of steel, and the confidence to act like he belonged. Over several days he drilled his way into a bank vault, right under the noses of the staff. He moved among them, blending in so seamlessly that no one thought to question his presence. There were no blaring alarms, no frantic calls to the police, and no dramatic standoffs. Just a masterclass in social engineering and human psychology. The mastermind, Gilbert Chickley, understood something most of us overlook. People rarely question what appears normal, especially in familiar settings. Disguised as a maintenance worker, he took advantage of our natural tendency to trust uniforms and to mind our own business, especially in busy environments. The bank he targeted, Société Générale in Paris, was equipped with all the latest security technology, cameras, motion sensors, alarms, and vault doors that seemed impenetrable. But all that high-tech gear was designed to catch the obvious threats: masked robbers, forced entries, or suspicious activity. It wasn't prepared for someone who simply blended in and acted like he was supposed to be there. Chickley's plan was audacious in its simplicity. He knew that if you act like you belong, most people won't give you a second glance. It's a trick as old as time, but rarely executed on such a grand scale. He approached the heist like a meticulous project manager, studying blueprints, planning every move, and preparing for every possible scenario. His preparation was as thorough as any corporate operation. There were no car chases, no shootouts, and no chaos. Instead, it was a quiet, calculated, and almost invisible operation that left everyone stunned. For a time, it truly seemed like he had pulled off the perfect crime, leaving authorities and the public baffled, and the world wondering how it was even possible. But as you'll soon discover, even the most brilliant plans can unravel, and sometimes, it's the smallest detail that brings everything crashing down. Gilbert Chickley's disguise: a construction worker, hard hat, vest, toolbox. It was a look so ordinary, so unremarkable, that it was almost invisible. He didn't choose a flashy costume or a clever mask. He chose the uniform of the everyday, the kind of outfit that people see 100 times a day and never remember. In a city, construction workers are invisible. They blend into the background. Surrounded by the constant noise and movement of urban life, no one gives them a second glance. They're part of the city's machinery, always present, always overlooked. Chickley didn't sneak around. He walked with confidence, acting like he belonged. He understood that the secret to not being noticed was to act as if you had every right to be there. His stride was purposeful, his demeanor calm, his presence unremarkable. People trust uniforms. He used that trust as his first tool. A uniform signals authority, reliability, and purpose. It tells people, I'm supposed to be here. That trust is rarely questioned, especially in a busy environment. The plan started with renting an office directly above the bank. It was a masterstroke of simplicity, no need for forced entry or elaborate break-ins, just a lease agreement and a set of keys. As a legitimate tenant, he could come and go, carrying tools, making noise. No one questioned him. Renovation noises? Perfect cover. The sound of drills and hammers was expected, even welcomed, in a building under construction. The very activities of his crime became his alibi. Every bang and clatter was just another day at work. Dust, debris, and the smell of fresh paint. These were the signs of progress, not suspicion. Chickley's genius was making the unusual look completely normal. He understood that the best way to hide was to become part of the scenery, to turn the extraordinary into the everyday. He wasn't lurking in shadows, he was just another contractor in a busy building. Surrounded by other workers, he was just one more face in the crowd, indistinguishable from the rest. The city's hustle and bustle became his camouflage. The constant movement, the endless flow of people and machines provided the perfect cover for his activities. He didn't break in, he moved in, one power tool at a time. Each trip up the stairs, each load of equipment was just another part of the job. By hiding in plain sight, he exposed a fundamental flaw in how we perceive threats. We're conditioned to look for the out of place, the suspicious, the strange. But what if the real danger is the one that fits in perfectly? We look for what stands out, but sometimes the danger is what blends in. the most effective disguise is often the one that draws no attention at all. Chickley's crime was invisible because it looked like everyday work. The ordinary became his shield, and routine was his greatest weapon. That's what made it so effective. In a world full of distractions, sometimes the best way to disappear is to become part of the background, unseen, unnoticed, and unstoppable. With his cover in place, Chickley began the real work. The plan was bold, but every detail had been meticulously mapped out in advance. He knew that timing, precision, and nerves of steel would be essential for what came next. This wasn't a smash and grab, it was a slow, methodical operation over a long holiday weekend. The city outside was quiet, almost eerily so, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Inside, Chickley and his team moved with purpose, knowing they had a rare window of opportunity. Starting Friday night, he and his team drilled through the concrete floor of their office, right into the bank vault below. The sound of metal biting into stone echoed through the empty building, but no one was around to hear it. Heavy-duty tools, deafening noise, but the timing was perfect. The cover of night and the holiday break masked the chaos they were creating just above the vault. The bank was closed for days, staff at home, and renovation noise was expected. No one questioned the sounds coming from the office above, and the empty bank below was a fortress, until now. Chickley counted on public indifference and the cover of a holiday. People passed by, barely glancing at the building, assuming it was just another renovation project in progress. The drilling had to be precise. One wrong move and they'd miss the vault. Every measurement was double-checked, every calculation scrutinized. There was no room for error. Careful planning and measurement paid off. The team worked in perfect sync, each member knowing their role and executing it flawlessly. They cut through reinforced concrete inch by inch while the city slept. The process was slow, grueling, and exhausting, but they pressed on, driven by the promise of what lay beneath. If anyone noticed, the answer was simple: just renovations. The team had an explanation ready for every question, every curious glance. Signs apologizing for noise, all part of the act. They even posted extra notices just to reinforce the illusion that everything was above board. The evidence of the crime, noise, dust, tools, was the perfect alibi. In plain sight, the mess looked like nothing more than the aftermath of a tough renovation job. Chickley wasn't hiding, he was being obvious, but in a way that seemed normal. He greeted neighbors, chatted with security, and acted like any other contractor on a late-night shift. He created a bubble of normalcy around his crime, and it worked. The perfect heist, hidden in plain sight, unfolding right under everyone's noses. Societe Generale's security looked impressive: motion detectors, vibration sensors, direct police lines. But these systems were designed for violent attacks, not slow, steady drilling. The sensors ignored the gradual vibrations, mistaking them for city noise or construction. Chickley found the system's blind spot and exploited it. No human checks, no patrols, just faith in automation. Over the holiday, no one noticed the noise or dust. The bank's biggest vulnerability wasn't the vault, it was renting out the space above it. No one considered the risk from above. Chickley didn't need to hack a lock, he just signed a lease. All defenses pointed outward, never upward. The real weakness was simple oversight. Sometimes the easiest way in is through the front door, if you know where to look. After hours of drilling, the team broke through the vault ceiling. They lowered themselves into a world of safe deposit boxes, no alarms, no interruptions. Inside, they worked methodically, opening hundreds of boxes over the weekend. Cash, jewelry, gold, documents, anything valuable was taken. No rush, they had time and they used it. To cover their tracks, they sprayed fire extinguisher powder everywhere, destroying forensic evidence. No fingerprints, no DNA, no footprints. When finished, they climbed back up, packed their tools and loot, and walked out the front door. To everyone else, they were just workers finishing a job. No dramatic escape, just a quiet exit with millions, the perfect crime hidden in plain sight. The city kept moving, never knowing what had happened. Chickley's team vanished into the crowd, the vault was empty, and no one suspected a thing. Monday morning, bank staff arrived as usual, until they opened the vault. Instead of order, they found chaos, white powder, broken boxes, and emptiness. The vault door was locked, alarms silent, no sign of forced entry. Confusion turned to shock. How was this possible? The police arrived to a baffling scene, a hole in the ceiling but no clues. The crime defied logic and security protocols. News spread quickly, a major bank robbed by ghosts. the vacuum gang legend was born. For the bank, it was a PR disaster. How could they promise safety after such a breach? The pressure was on police to solve the case, but with a contaminated scene and no suspects, they had little to go on. The perfect crime had left almost no trace. The investigation faced a forensic nightmare. No prints, no DNA, no physical evidence. Detectives had to think differently, follow the digital trail. The first lead came from the office above the vault. Police checked the lease, payments, and building records. In today's world, every action leaves a digital footprint. Renting offices, buying tools, making calls, all create data. Investigators traced burner phones used for communication. Even burner phones leave traces. Cell tower records, call times. By mapping these, police tracked the suspects' movements. It was digital detective work, connecting dots in call logs and server data. The robbers hid their physical tracks, but their digital shadows remained. Slowly, the net began to tighten. The breakthrough came from a single mistake. One robber used a burner phone to call a personal contact, a slip in their careful plan. That call linked the network of burners to a real person. Police finally had a name: Gilbert Chickley. Digging deeper, they found his history of scams and deception. The puzzle pieces fit. Chickley was the mastermind. Police connected him to the office rental, equipment purchases, and accomplices. The digital breadcrumbs led straight to him. The ghost who robbed the bank now had a face. Arrests followed, and the case was solved, not by luck, but by relentless police work and one human error. Even the best plans can unravel with a single mistake. The Société Générale heist is more than a robbery story. It's a lesson in security and psychology. The bank prepared for high-tech threats but missed the obvious. A man with a drill and a good story. Chickley's real weapon was understanding human nature. People trust what looks normal. He used society's rules to his advantage, turning hard work into a criminal enterprise. This story shows how the most effective disguise is often the one we see every day. It's a fascinating look at the mechanics of a job most of us can't imagine. Sometimes reality is stranger and smarter than fiction. Stories like this challenge our assumptions and show what's possible, for better or worse. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe for more incredible stories of work, crime, and ingenuity. You never know what job we'll explore next.